everyone, it's Christy from Green Eyed Tarot, and I thought I would just hop on today and do a July favorites video. I know July isn't over yet, but I just thought it's a really hot day. It's about 97 degrees outside right now, and that's without factoring in the humidity, so it feels like it's over 100 degrees, and it's a good day to stay inside the AC, and so I figured might as well do a fun July favorites video. I've never done a favorites video yet on this channel, so I thought it would be fun to share some of the stuff I've been enjoying, and that I will continue to enjoy for the rest of this month. I have a lovely iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, so let me take a sip. So it feels wonderful to drink iced coffee on this hot day. And so let's get right into it. I have a bunch of random things to share, books, and of course, decks that I've been working with, decks that I've sort of been loving recently. So yeah, so just a fun little run through of different things. The first thing I want to share, oh, actually, is this thing that's on my iced coffee. So this is a Java sock. And I just got this maybe a couple of weeks ago. And let me tell you, in the summer here, someone who loves iced coffee in these 95-degree days, literally my cup always sweats and drips and it's slipping out of my hand. So this keeps it cold, it keeps it dry. This is the small size. I usually buy small at Dunkin' Donuts. That's really all I can handle. Starbucks sometimes, the middle size grande. So yeah, so this is a Java sock. They come in all these fun colors. These are succulents. It's really cute. They were limited on the small. I guess they sell the small size out, but they have small, medium, large, extra large. It fits any kind of drink you can possibly imagine. But it's been awesome. I throw it in my purse, so this way if I do get iced coffee, usually on the weekends, I usually make my coffee during the week. So the weekends, if I'm out and I'm gonna grab one, especially now in this heat, this has been amazing. It's so fun. I love it. It's such a simple thing, but it's keeping my drink from dripping everywhere, leaving a puddle when I put it down. I don't know. It's just been fun. I really like it. Java sock. I'll link to it. You can get it. They have their own website. I think they have them on Amazon too, but I feel like it's cheaper just to get it right from the company who makes it. So yeah, Java sock. Fun and a favorite this month so far. Okay, next up is a candle. So I love candles. I'm sure many of you, you have candles literally all over your house, which is the case with me. I don't like floral candles, florally. I don't like fruity candles typically. So the summer is tough because that's what usually everyone sells. They sell usually really fruity and floral, or things that are food. I don't know. I don't like candles that smell like food or cookies. I'm definitely picky when it comes to scents. I have a really sensitive nose. So I was at Bath and Body Works recently when they had one of their huge candle sales. Those 3-wick candles are $25 regular price, and I will never in a million years pay $25 for a candle. But they were having one of their big sales where they were $8.95, and I ended up getting this one, which is coconut and vetiver. And yeah, it smells really good. So definitely coconut. It reminds me of the beach, but then it has the vetiver underneath, which vetiver is my favorite scent of all time. Vetiver is a very earthy, woody scent, and those are the types of scents that I usually like. So this has the vetiver and coconut mix. I don't know, it's just very nice. It's subtle. It's definitely coconutty, so if you don't like coconut, it wouldn't be for you, but coconut and vetiver, anything vetiver, like I said, they sold me. I didn't even need to smell it. I was yep, we'll get that one. So it's been nice. I've been burning it. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of the beach, so it still has that summer vibe without it being super fruity or florally. And then it's got that really earthy vetiver, which is amazing. So yeah, so that has been a definite favorite. Been burning that every day when I come home from work. I usually burn that a little bit. And it's been making the house smell really nice. So yeah, definitely a favorite. One of the other things along the lines of scents and things that make everything smell nice is something that I gotten in the April Witch's Moon box. This is the Green Goddess Ritual Aura Spray. So this is amazing. Like sometimes in these boxes it can be hit or miss. Because again, I have a really sensitive nose, and some like essential oils, they make me sneeze and stuff like that. So sometimes, you know, they're not great, but this one I use all the time. So I've been using this, my morning messages from the Fae. I spray this all around. You know, before I do the readings, it smells like the woods. It smells like the forest after like a rain or something. It's amazing. I know it has sandalwood, cedarwood, chamomile, clove, all the earthy scents that I like, all the earthy essential oils that I like. I think it has green tea. It smells amazing. I just spritz it into the air. It has crystals in it. You know, the witches, many of you get the Witch's Moon subscription boxes. They always has like quartz crystals in it, but it just smells amazing, and it puts me in the forest. Like, it puts me in that space of being like deep in the forest. And it definitely reminds me of the Fae, like that Fae energy, which is totally where I'm at right now, and the energy I'm working with. So for my messages from the Fae, I've been spritzing this. I just spritz it around my sacred space, like when I'm really like here doing anything. So it smells absolutely amazing. I love those Witch's Moon boxes. I don't get monthly. I'll like maybe twice a year I treat myself to one, because they're pretty expensive. They're worth it. They're filled with like so many good things, but they're just really expensive. And for my budget and stuff right now, I can't have it monthly, but like twice a year usually I treat myself. So I'm on the lookout for their Instagram when they announce like the theme, and this theme was like the dark forest or something. I was like, I'm in. Something about into the woods, I'm in. So so I definitely got that one. I'm so happy I did, because that was just one of the things, and I've been absolutely loving it. Okay, so next up is herbs that I've been using. I typically use herbs just in my magical practice, in my spiritual practice, in magical workings that I do. Like sometimes I use them for teas and things like that, but for the most part, they're used like in a magical spell work ritual type of sense, like burning in incense or burning on a charcoal disc, and putting them in spells, spell bottles, things like that. So for this month, really for like the summer so far, like since midsummer, since the solstice, around the solstice time, I've been using blue vervain. So this is from Relax Remedy. This is a shop on Etsy, and they sell like all different sizes, which is great because this is perfect for like my needs. So this is blue vervain, which is the type of vervain that's grown here in North America. It's different from the vervain that's grown elsewhere. This is the vervain that's typical here, and it's an herb that is usually harvested around midsummer. Like historically, it's been an herb that was always harvested around that time. It's a fabulous for protection, protection spells and purification. So yeah, it's just one of those herbs that is an herb you would typically find around the midsummer and solstice. And then another one that I've been using is whole elderberries. So these are a little different. They're not elder flowers, which is like the flowering part, but these are the berries. So these are actually great for making elderberry tea, which is definitely something that I do, but also in spell work. Elderberries are the elder tree. Elderflowers are linked to the Fae. So elderberries are known for that Fae energy. It's said if like you fall asleep under an elder tree on the summer solstice, on like Midsummer's Eve, you will get a visit from the fairy prince or the king of the fairies or the queen of the fairies. It's definitely linked to Fae energy. So I definitely incorporated it into my practice around this time, because that's the energy I've been really working with and channeling this time of year, the summer, that midsummer, that solstice. That's definitely Fae energy for me. So I've been using vervain and elderberries in addition to other like herbs and stuff I use, but those are ones that I specifically like sought out to use during this time of year. So the next thing I have to talk about is a piece of jewelry that I recently got. It is like one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen. It is so much more beautiful in person. So I got this necklace, and I'm really hoping the camera is going to be able to pick up like all the details so that it doesn't swing. I know it's so hard to see, but this is a Labradorite in the middle. I'm gonna try to get the camera to focus. It's like not going to, but it's just gorgeous. And this is by Arrus Fineries. She's on Instagram as Arrus, A-R-R-U-S Fineries, and she's formerly known as Charmed by Jen. She makes the most beautiful magical jewelry with crystals. Everything's handmade. And this was called, every piece has a name. So a lot of times she releases collections. And like she had a witchy collection that she released, I think it was last year. So there's another necklace of hers that I have that I wear all the time. And this was the one I had last. This was named Bridget. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, that's definitely the one for me, just from its name. But this is flower agate, and then there is a moss agate. It's like so hard to see right there, and then there's a little smoky quartz at the top. So I feel like this necklace was made for me, just because of all the stones. It has like all of my favorite stones: smoky quartz, moss agate, and this beautiful flower agate. And it's just the most again, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. It's so magical. And when she recently released, her latest release, this is called Garden Witch. That was the name of it. I'm like would really love for it to focus and stop swinging. But yeah, this is, like I said, there's a Labradorite. It's more of like a brownish Labradorite. It's like so hard. It's not picking up the flash, but it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Like I said, in person, I saw it on her site. It's even more beautiful in person. I absolutely love it. It gives me fae vibes. I don't know why, it definitely does. The crystals, the little feathers, the flowers, it's just, yeah, they're like leaves. It's gorgeous. So Arrus Fineries, formerly Charmed by Jen. She makes beautiful witchy jewelry. I will definitely link her shop below in the description box. Go there, take a look. She just makes beautiful crystal handmade jewelry. It's amazing, so definitely check it out. Okay, so crystals that I have been sort of loving. Really, I love crystals all the time. There's really no like favorites, but some favorites that I've been using in kind of regularly and sort of just they're around like all the time. This giant smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is pretty much my favorite crystal of all time. It's a very grounding stone. It's a very earthy stone. I am an earth sign, so I really connect with smoky quartz. It's magical. It's such a, I don't know, it's such a beautiful stone. And this is a huge piece that I got at a local crystal shop, metaphysical store in my area, and it's just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. So that one's been around. I mentioned the garden quartz that I've been using in my messages from the Fae readings. I always have this out on my reading space when I'm doing those because it literally reminds me of a forest. It like looks like moss, like a mossy forest. I like imagine like little Fae living in there. It's like a little forest world inside of a crystal. So if you hold it up to the light, that's exactly what it looks like. So this has been a favorite of mine now for weeks that I've been using with those readings, like I said. And then of course there's a Labradorite palm stone that I had recently got from a crystal shop in my area. I look at the flash on that. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Labradorite, again, just one of those most magical, a stone of magic, manifestation. It's such a witchy stone. Look at that flash. It reminds me of a Monet painting or like a stained glass window. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. So this is just one of the most magical, like I said, stones, Labradorite. It's easily one of my favorites. So this has been kind of a favorite that I've been working with and just kind of holding, and it makes everything more magical. So that's it for crystals. Let's see. So the other thing that I was going to talk about is, I guess, spell work. So just really, one spell that I did that was around the midsummer time, right around the solstice, was a spell to call the Fae. Again, I'm harping on the fact that I work with Fae energy a lot during this time of year, but it's true. So a lot of things in my like spiritual practice and things like that are revolving around that energy. So I did a spell to call the Fae. It's just a spell I created myself, from different, just different energies I was feeling, and, just from using different resources. I think it's important, if you do spell work, it's great to like have a bunch of resources and like have books and read books about spell work. But I think it's really important, at least for me and like the stage that I'm at now, to be crafting my own, like sort of like do my own research and just think about like the energies I want to bring into it, and then just do it, and see how it goes, and let it flow from there. So I think it's fine to read books and, have books with spells in them, but I also think it's important to craft your own, to make that magic your own. And so that was one of these, like I said, spells to call the Fae. And I did, it's just a little spell bottle. I love to do spell bottles, love it. Little sachets, spell sachets. I really like to do spell bottles because it's like this little magical container. So there's something about spell bottles that I really love doing. So I did make this, like I said, this spell to call the Fae. Again, it's going to be like really difficult to see, but it almost looks like a little garden, like a little fairyland, in a bottle. So yeah, to me, it looks like I said, like a little fairyland. There's so much glare, it's gonna be so hard to see, but this is the little Fae spell to call the Fae. I used sugar. There's sugar at the bottom. Something sweet. We know the Fae like a little sweetness. So I used sugar, and there's moss in there. You can see it's hard to see, but there's a marigold flower like right on top. And I used rose petals, lavender, and then I placed a small scroll in there, which again is going to be really hard to see. There's a little scroll with a petition in there, just a petition to call the Fae, something that I wrote. And then I anointed the scroll with vetiver oil. Again, vetiver, my favorite scent, just very woodsy, very earthy. And then I used amethyst to attract friendship. I used citrine, which is like a spell of positivity and happiness. Quartz, which is basically kind of just amplifies anything. We all know quartz is one of those crystals that just kind of like can be used in place of anything. So that's just to amplify the magic and the intent behind my spell. And I used lapis lazuli to connect to the earth. So just a spell crafted literally to call the Fae and to bring, that Fae energy into my life, this little world that I put in a bottle. So that was really, it was really fun. It was one of those things that I really enjoyed. Something that I put in my grimoire. I leave this right here on my sacred space. Any of the spells that I create, I usually leave, in my sacred space for a time until I'm done using them. And then I disperse the magic in the best way that I see fit and kind of put it back out into the world. So that was pretty much the spell work, especially the most fun spell work that I did this month. And now for books and decks, probably the only thing anyone really wants to hear about, more so the decks, I'm sure. But in terms of books, I'm really at any given time always reading like 100 books at a time. I just can't seem to focus on one book at a time. So I'm really working on that, but I just can't. There's books literally all over my house, next to my bed, over here on the couch, over here on my sacred space. I think there's one or two on the dining room table right now. So there's books everywhere. So I'm really trying to work on that, but it's been a struggle. So this month, probably since about maybe June, I have been reading this Welsh Witchcraft by Mahara Starling. I'm sure many of you have heard of this, have seen it talked about. I'll definitely link her Instagram, so you can, follow her if interested. She posts such fabulous content. She's so authentic and herself, and I just adore following her. And so this book is exactly what it says. It focuses on Welsh witchcraft, which is very different than Irish or Scottish or, British, or, any other kind of witchcraft or magic. So I love it how it brings in the deities like Rhiannon and Ceridwen, but it also, talks about, because she lives in Wales and is born in Wales, it's the magic and witchcraft and folklore of her land where she's from, so you get a very authentic feel as you're going through this. I'm about halfway through. I've kind of been reading it in chunks. I've been going back and rereading. And she also has great videos on the pronunciation, because if you've ever looked at Welsh in writing, it's literally impossible for people like me who don't speak Welsh to pronounce. So she has videos like that help you learn how to pronounce the Welsh terms that she uses in this book. So that's an awesome, just an extra layer, because I don't know about you guys, but when I read and I'm trying to pronounce things, like in my head, it's like really funny. Like I laugh at myself as I'm like trying, and I'm just making up my own pronunciations, which is great. But I really feel like to be true to, the subject matter, it would be nice to know how to pronounce. So that's just, that's a nice feature that she has. But yeah, it just is a really interesting, introspective look into the land of Wales, and specifically the folklore and the witchcraft that has existed in that land and on that land for centuries, and centuries. So it's been very interesting. I'm looking forward to continue reading it. If you're interested in specifically Welsh witchcraft, it's great. I highly recommend it. The other book that I got a few months ago I just started sort of delving into is this Path of Elemental Witchcraft by Salacrow, a weird woman's book of shadows. This is a ginormous book. It is very big. I am definitely not reading it cover to cover. I sort of read the beginning, but she really doesn't, there's really not a huge introduction. She goes right into the welcome. I think the intro is like 1 page, 2 pages, and then it's right into the different elements. So water magic, fire magic, air magic, earth magic, and then she has like the that fifth element, she focuses a little on like spirit, magic. And it's from what I gather, from what I've read so far, sort of like what when I delved into this, just when I was like thinking of purchasing it, I got it at Barnes and Noble, and I was like flipping through it, and it's just written in such a conversational way. It really pulled me in. It's not a like how to, it's not a like do this, do this, do this. Here's the steps in your earth magic spell, it not at all. It is very conversational. She talks about the land she lives on. She talks about, how that drives her magic and directs her magic. And it's full of just different, her experiences, like places she's gone, and like, it's, like I said, very conversational, and it infuses so much of her life, which I really like. It's so it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like reading like a travel book for all these places, that she's lived and gone to and where she's done magic, and a spell book, and an intro to witchcraft, and someone's just personal grimoire, as it says, Book of Shadows. Like this is her, sort of her Book of Shadows, but as if she was just dictating it to somebody, if that makes sense. So it's been really good. Like I said, I'm not reading it cover to cover. I'm kind of going to different things and like reading little snippets here and there. So I definitely not one, I don't think I'm just going to sit down and read. Like Welsh Witchcraft, I'm reading cover to cover. That one's going to be like a dip in, dip out, and take lots of, things away from it. But so far, it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. The only other book that I don't know if we can say that I'm reading right now, is, I don't know if anyone plays video games, but this is a Skyrim Anniversary Edition complete guide that my wonderful partner bought me off of Amazon. I'm not sure if it's because he tends to yell at me while I'm playing Skyrim, because he's finished the game like 3 times and played all the way through. But I started Skyrim a long time ago, left it, came back. I don't have a lot of time for video games, but recently, like, I've been getting back into it, and I started playing again a few months ago. But this is actually really cool. Like I said, if you're not interested in video games at all, then you're not going to care about this. So I'm not going to talk about it, at length, but I am enjoying Skyrim again. It's a very fun game. I tried Elden Ring. It's literally impossible. That game is literally impossible. It gave me so much anxiety that I just stopped playing it. So I don't know if anyone has attempted Elden Ring. Yeah, that one didn't work out too well for me. Maybe I'll go back to it, but this one's a lot more fun. To me, it's a little bit easier. You can kind of like leave it and come back to it. I don't know. So Skyrim, fun, definitely one of those things that I've been enjoying in terms of occupying my time. Fun hobby type stuff. When I have time. And that's it for really books. I'm not reading any like fiction, which is weird. I've been reading mostly nonfiction, but actually I just got 2 books in the mail from Amazon, like literally like 10 minutes before I started shooting this video. So I'm kind of excited about that. So this is more of a, not a favorites, but hopefully will be my favorite, and I will be reading soon. So I got The Highland Witch by Susan Fletcher. Now, this is a book that I've heard so much about. Kelly at The Truth in Story, I think, has an entire class that she does on this book. I might be wrong, but I know there's an oracle deck that she created that's based on this book. It was published originally as Corrag, Corrag. That's the name, I believe, of the witch in the book, like the main character. The title was changed to The Highland Witch, but she's said such great things about it. I've heard other people talk about this. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's about a witch at the end of the 1600s, and it has to do with like the Scottish, I believe, like the uprising or a massacre in like Scotland. It's based in Scotland, which is amazing. I love like historical fiction that is set in that region and also this time period. So I'm really looking forward to this one. So that's The Highland Witch by Susan Fletcher. I also got this other book called The Vanished Days by Susanna Kersley. I've read a bunch of her books. She wrote a book called The Winter Sea, which was amazing, and I believe The Rose Garden. Those are 2 that I've read. This is also set in the Scottish Highlands. We see a theme here, but so this is the 3rd book in a series, but I don't believe you have to read all the books in order. But it's sort of in the vein of Outlander, kind of that genre. It, like, again, set in early 1700s, around the Jacobite uprising. So definitely like same sort of time period as the Outlander books. So again, it looks like it's going to be definitely some romance in there, but it's not the main focus. It's definitely historical fiction with romance mixed in, which is wonderful. That's fine. I love it. I love all that anyway, but it's called The Vanished Days. Susanna Kersley. Definitely looking forward to reading that one. And hopefully I'll be able to talk about it in the next video. Maybe not August, because I don't think I'll finish it in August, but maybe in the fall we'll talk about how I like these. And now on to decks, which I'm sure is all that most of you care about, and do not want to hear me rambling about other things. So decks for recently, I feel like I've been a little scattered and all over the place with decks, but there are a few that I have been working with more than others. So this is the Tarot au Remords Étrange. I did a walkthrough of this. It is a French deck, Tarot of Strange Branches. I think someone corrected me and said it's really supposed to be branches. Antlers is sort of the literal translation, but it's in French. And so, yeah, so this is the backs. Like I said, I did a walkthrough of this if anyone's interested. It's a really beautiful deck. It's definitely bigger than regular, like your standard tarot size. So these are the backs, very beautiful. They're matte cardstock, so very nice. It's a pretty thick deck. So let's see. The deck that's literally always in reach is the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. So yeah, definitely bigger than a standard tarot deck. And it's thick. It's pretty thick. I have a hard time. You can't riffle shuffle this. Nope. It's overhand shuffling only on this. But yeah, so this is, like I said, a French deck. It's very beautiful. It's giving me all the summer fae just vibes. I get divine feminine energy out of this deck. I get, like I said, fae, summer, heat, you know, just really earthy vibes. So I just feel like this is a great deck for like right now. I'm feeling this one for this time of year. Like I said, it tends to stick together. It's a little sticky. But it's beautiful. Like I said, it feels nice in the hand because it's matte cardstock. You know, it's borderless. Like you're getting a big piece of art in each card, which is fabulous. I forgot to do the nudity warning. I'm sorry. There is nudity in this deck. It's a little late now, but sorry. I always forget to do that. But it's done. It's very tastefully done. You know, it's intentional. It's not, you know, just for shock value. This is it's all feminine, you know, female type bodies. But it's very beautiful. It's a beautiful deck. The energy, like I said, to me is a very, very summer. It's very summery. Got that sort of warm, you know, vibes to it. Earthy, you know, definitely divine feminine, but it's gorgeous. Like I said, it's just a little bit big. It's a little difficult to shuffle, and it's sort of like, it's not rose, it's like a little rose petal. I don't know how to describe it. It's not as rose petal as some of the decks, but it definitely has that, like, they stick together. They do stick. Maybe the more I use them, you know, shuffle them and things like that, that'll probably dissipate a little bit, like the stickiness, but like it's big. I mean, it's a chunky deck. I can't riffle shuffle it, but it is gorgeous. I've been enjoying it. Again, summer vibes, fae vibes, forest vibes, earthy vibes. Yeah, definitely. It's beautiful. I love it. The other deck that I've been sort of like fascinated with is one that I literally just got. It's, I believe, still in order because I just got it. I'm very late to this party. This is the John Bower Tarot. So yeah, I'm very late to this party, but this is sort of one that I've seen everywhere. I've kind of contemplated getting it and I just never did for some reason. I don't know. I think it was like deck overwhelm, you know, for me for a lot, but I recently culled a bunch of decks and been sort of adding new decks, and this one just has always caught my eye. You know, like I said, everyone is pretty familiar with this deck, I feel like, but it is so storybook. I love it. It's so Grimm's fairy tales, and I'm going to be doing an entire video on storytelling and decks that tell a story. I'm really excited for that because I have a bunch of decks like that. I always talk about decks that have a narrative, you know, sort of narrative tarot narratives. I can't say that. Say that 3 times fast. I don't think so. But I'm a sucker for decks that have a story to tell. It's why I can't connect with pip decks. I just can't, 5 wands on a card. 5 of wands, you know what I mean? I know the meaning. I know the meanings of the cards enough, but I don't get anything out of it. But decks like this that are like telling me a story in every card, and I don't know if it's just me and the way my brain works, my active imagination, my, just that storytelling, that love of stories and books, and I don't know if that's what it is, but I have a feeling that that's you know, a good part of it is that I love that storybook feel. And this is like not the like Disney fairy tales, which are great. You know, I love them. I grew up watching them. This is the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. They're a little dark. You know, they're definitely like have a little bit of a darkness and like an edge to them. And that's what I see with this deck. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know this more. I don't know why I waited so long, because I really like it. And I think the reason I waited so long is because it's like that low Scarabeo shape deck, and I have an issue with this. I think I talked about it in my declutter video, like the long, like thin cards. I don't know. It's not really bothering me with this deck. So I think really the ones that I decluttered that were low Scarabeo were just the decks themselves. I just didn't connect with like the art or the concept of the decks or something. But in my mind, I was like, and I don't like the shape. But this one I definitely like, and I'm so happy I have it now. Like I said, I'm kind of sad that I didn't get it earlier, very late to this party. As I know this deck has been around and been talked about, you know, for a long time, but I'm super excited, and I'm excited about the video that I have planned that's going to feature this deck and some other decks. So I'm excited. Trying to think, the only other deck that I've been really like trying to work with a lot, and it's totally like in a different sort of class, is the Hellenic Oracle. What's wrong with me today? I can't speak. I can't pronounce words. Words are tough today, and I don't know what it is, but coffee. More coffee. May or may not help with words and speaking, but the Hellenic Oracle by Thea from Garden Goddess Tarot. This deck is amazing. It's an oracle deck. It's huge. It's got a lot of cards, like 90 something. It's a big deck. It is all Greek mythology. And it is her own deck that she curated, and I think it was Make Playing Cards. I'm pretty sure I got this off of. It's a fabulous linen cardstock. It's pretty awesome. The backs are awesome. They're like this antiqued brown. Love it. But yeah, so these are all Greek figures from Greek mythology. And so on each card, there's like the actual Greek translation, I believe, of each, you know, goddess or god or figure from Greek mythology. Like this is Psyche. We have Pythia. So it's existing artwork that she curated, but it's fabulous. And there's no guidebook. You know, she has a fabulous video introducing this, and I will definitely link it below. If you're interested in Greek mythology, if you work with, you know, any of these deities, if you just love learning the myths and legends, and then here's Artemis. This might be a deck for you. And I am gonna be filming another video about this deck specifically, because I just got a book, I swear, that like could be the guidebook for this deck. I feel like you can use any book on classic Greek mythology to go along with this deck, or not even a book. You could just do research online. You know, you can Google things, you can find resources, and I believe like that's what she suggests in terms of working with this deck, like to do your own research to learn about the different deities and gods and goddesses and just the myths that go along with them. But I found a book, and I'm kind of excited to kind of show everyone the way it goes with this deck, because I couldn't believe it, and I got the book really cheap too. So yeah, so this is a beautiful deck, very classical art, but it definitely like works, obviously, you know, as someone who like has never really connected with any of the other like oracle decks that have come out, like mass market, the Mythic Oracle. I had it, I rehomed it. I didn't connect with it. To me, it wasn't really authentic, but this feels authentic. And I think it feels so authentic partly because of Thea and how she talks about this deck and about how she created it. And I just feel like it was a labor of love for her, and you can tell she's so knowledgeable about Greek mythology. So definitely, if you're interested, check out her video. I will link it below. It's amazing. This deck is gorgeous. It's, look at this. Look at how many cards. Like if you like, I mean, look at those. And the card stock is just, oh my God, it's amazing. It just like slides, like you can fan this out. Ooh. Yes, I love it. Linen cardstock, it's amazing. So that's one that I've been kind of delving into definitely more because of this book that I got, and I can't wait to film the video about it because I think it's gonna be fun. But that's it. That's the ramble about all the stuff I've been enjoying in July. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was sort of like long and rambly, but yeah, it was fun. And now I'm in a good mood because I have all this stuff around me that I've been enjoying. So I am gonna finish drinking my coffee in my fun Java sock, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.